Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another weekly plan with me for the week of May the 13th through the 19th, 2024. So I am doing away with this weekly setup that I have. I found out that after the second week, I really don't like the layout for the little pages for the box dailies. It just does not fit me. One thing I am really finding out that I just love the freedom to do what I want to do on a page, but I am choosing to use this insert that has a collection of things on it, which is a daily schedule, like the top 3 priorities, a to-do list, notes section, as well as water intake and a mood. You can check what mood you're in. This is a lot better than the previous one where it just had the boxes and just a few lines for whatever to-dos that I have. So far the rings is okay, I will say that, but I am used to being able to do what I want on the page. So literally whatever I want to have on the page, being able to add it. And that's one thing that I feel like I am missing from me setting up my own composition notebook. But right now, I still think that it's important that I have something already set up, because how I've been feeling lately and the ability to set it up like I want to, this way is just more important for me now. So I'm going to try these inserts for the next 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks in this month, and see how it goes. I think I'm going to like this way more better than before. And the sticker books, I'll say right off the bat, I'm using, of course, you know I couldn't wait. Definitely go check out my video if you haven't already, with the Happy Planner sticker books that I got or found at Dollar Tree. So definitely go check that out. I cannot wait to use these. I tried to use both, the quotes one as well as the productivity one. But I feel like, again, I said it before, they are just very functional and can go with any, like, complement any layout, but they can also be like a good standalone as well. So I enjoyed putting those on. And you'll also see in the video that I am not using the weekly planning insert that I had that kind of served as like what my weekly forecast looked like. I didn't really like that. I don't know why, but I didn't really like that. It wasn't enough tracking space at the bottom, and I couldn't redo it because it was there, so I couldn't like maneuver or like revamp the whole page. So I decided to use the original habit tracker that I initially took out. So I'm using that, and I'm okay with that. I also made a one for my weekly tasks, because I feel like I will always need a list of weekly tasks of what I need to focus on for that week. So I did do that. I had no regrets. It didn't take a lot to do it. And it was just easy. Everything else is good in place. You know, my budget place, everything else on there is good. But now I will do like an end of the month video as to what I'll be going into next month. But I did want to talk with you guys a little bit about the phrase that I know everyone has heard before. And at least one time in their life or another, I'm, willing to guess that everybody has heard, focus on the things that you do have control over and versus the things that you don't have control. And it's not something that is new to me, because as a counselor, I use it all the time. It's something that I literally tell clients all the time. And it can be very difficult to do. And I make sure that I always tell them, I understand I'm asking you to do something very difficult. And I also let them know that it's not all the time an easy approach to doing it, because it's one of those things that you'll just have to do. Now, how you started off can be different from others. just like anything else, some people can quit doing something cold turkey and be totally okay with it, whereas some people like to wean themselves off of things, or some people like to do half and half. But I feel as if, in my opinion, when you go through different challenges in life, whether they're trials, challenges, or what have you, it can be very easy to focus on what's going wrong or try to fix something that is not going right or not going how you would want them to go or how you think that they should go. And included in all of that is others' actions and behaviors and thoughts and views. And I think it's one of those things that we see every day in the news, in politics, definitely when we're reelecting. We're divided by what we believe to be important and true versus what somebody else deems as priority or important. And in those situations, it can be so easy to get wrapped in our emotions and act or respond off of how we feel and still not get anywhere at the end of the day. And lately I have been, you'll probably see maybe the journaling video before this one. So I do a journaling video, whether it's before or after. And I'm kind of going over like documenting. It's not journal. I take it back. It's memory keeping. And it's like a really quick way to memory keep that I'm doing in this weekly Traveler's Notebook. Of course, I had to get my fix with a Traveler's Notebook still. And I think it's really good because it's quick, it's easy to document. I can kind of see what's going on without having to read through a whole journal entry or anything like that. And I've, so much has happened over this past year for me, but definitely within the last 6 months, it's been a lot of transitions, huge transitions, not only with myself, my kids, but also with things that has happened that I have to adjust to. And some of which is due to others' actions and their behaviors with their own self that has made me a part of it. So I found myself wanting to control, because I felt I was losing it and it was nothing that I could do to gain it. So sometimes when we try to control a situation or someone, we get very frustrated. We don't get anywhere. The wheels is just steady spinning and we're still not going anywhere, but we're the only ones that's suffering even more. I realized that I have suffered even more than what I was already suffering and basically stopped my process of progressing or healing or, however you want to phrase it, because I've been so focused on others' actions and what they're anticipating what their response will be or internalizing what their responses will be. And sometimes I have to detach from that and refocus myself on what is within my control. We cannot, and I say this because it's something that I know I have to say to myself over and over again. And it's also something that I always tell my clients, whether I'm working with them very, very short term, while I'm working with them in the midst of a crisis where I may not only see them, but for their 1 hour, 2 hours, if they choose not to, follow whatever recommendation. And I may or may not see them again. Or I may see them again if they come on a unit like a month from then or not. But I think it's good for us to always remember what we have control over. Focus on what you can control. And I think when some people think about it in that sense, they may think very grand and large, almost like what we think about when we think about goals. Well, okay, what's your goals? When someone asks somebody that question, a lot of time people go for a very, very high goal. And before they do it, I'll say, even if it's a small goal, even if your small goal is to get out of bed today. And for some people, That's not a small goal. That's a huge goal, especially if they're dealing with depression or anything else that has gotten them down, whether it's an illness that they really have to fight to get out of bed. And it really takes a lot of energy for them to make a couple of steps. So even if your goal is brushing my teeth today, making sure I ate something today, making sure I showered today, let it be a goal that you can reach, but let it be a goal. Let it be a realistic goal, but let it be something within your control. So when you say like, focus on something that's in my control, it doesn't have to be, do all of these bunch of things. It can simply be, today I'm going to do something self-care. I'm going to make sure I make me a meal with veggies. I'm going to make sure I eat a piece of fruit today. That's something I have control over. Let me declutter this drawer, even if it only takes 5 minutes. Let me put this load of laundry in because I know it's going to help me later on in the week, just in case something else comes up. Let me distract myself by reading a book, looking at a fun YouTube video, or listen to an encouraging podcast. Let whatever it be, let it, even if it's, I want to write something down in a journal, but I only want to write a line out. Even if it's simply standing outside and breathing in the air and being observant as to what you see. But let it be something that's within your control. Because when we focus on things that we have absolutely no control over, it can spin us further and further into a place that we don't want to go. And I say that because I recently had to tell myself that and reiterate it over and over. At one point, a couple of days ago, it was literally every hour. Focus on what you have control over. You do not have control over that. And if others view that as you not caring about their feelings or you being negative or whatever, respectfully let them think that. Don't even feel as if you owe somebody a response for you focusing on what you have control over, because that can turn into a whole nother argument. Well, if you tell somebody, well, I'm focusing on what I have control over because I can't control you and your actions, and then that just goes down the route to another bad experience. And that's even in all areas of our life, whether it's with our bosses, our friends, our families, our partners, our, anything, our church. Focus on what you have control over. And even if that means your control is walking out of the situation or letting the situation go, so be it. But remember, you can't control anybody, so you also can't blame them if you're choosing to constantly insert yourself in something that you know is toxic for you and everyone that's connected to you. So make the decision today, whatever it is that may be troubling you, if something is troubling you, to focus on what you have control over. And a lot of times that distraction will put us in the right perspective as to what we need to do. Sometimes when we focus on whether it's our health, our kids, we realize, oh, wow, I should have been doing this. Look how far I could get in this if I just, focused on myself or what I'm able to do. And hopefully the next person will do the same thing. So even though I know that's something that a lot of you have probably already heard of before, but hopefully rehearing it again can kind of reset you to evaluate things in your life that you may be trying to control too much. But that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have an awesome week. Bye-bye.